First up, my childhood Game Boy. It is not in great condition. I am looking at trying to get this restored because it would be cool to maybe get a backlit or even a colour screen on this. So many hours spent playing through all of those Pokemon games, yellow, red, blue, gold, silver, all of the Mario games for this. And I had that carry case and I still have the original box as well. Next up, we've got the Game Boy Color. Now, I never had the Game Boy Color growing up. I went straight from the original Game Boy and then onto the Game Boy Advance. So these were two that I picked up from different car boot sales. They cost me about a fiver each, I think, roughly. I know that from going to CEX yesterday, that purple see-through one is actually selling for £100 at CEX, which is just crazy. They are nice consoles, but I think there wasn't enough of an upgrade from the original Game Boy to this. Still missing a backlight, and yeah, I guess obviously less batteries and things like that, but yeah, I'm kind of glad I maybe skipped this generation. I think for a lot of people watching this video, this will probably have been your first handheld console. I know so many people that got the Game Boy Color and the Pokemon games. Let me know in the comments then, did you get this for a birthday or Christmas just to play the Pokemon games on this one? Or did you have the original Game Boy? We're on to the Game Boy Advance then. Now that clear kind of light purple one, that's my original one from growing up. I just had that original Game Boy and then it got to Pokemon Crystal and you couldn't play that on the original Game Boy. You needed a colour. So my mum obviously said, well, let's skip the colour, wait for the Game Boy Advance. And that's where I got Crystal and Ruby at the same time. There's a little bit of damage to the connectors because I didn't touch it for years, left batteries in there and they corroded. So I've been trying to use some alcohol rub and trying to repair those connectors for the batteries. It's been kind of a long repair job. I'm still struggling to get it working. I'm hoping I'll be able to repair it myself, but again, I might try and see if I can send a couple of these to be repaired and have them restored properly. We're up to the Game Boy Advance and yep, still no backlight. I can't believe we've gone through all those generations without having a backlit screen. The Nokia Ngage. Well ahead of its time. This is my phone back in 2004, that sort of time. Big W had a big sale. You could get the Ngage and FIFA 2004 for £100. And it was just incredible. You had your phone, whole multimedia device with a dedicated handheld, way ahead of its time, the Nokia Ngage. You had to actually turn the phone on its side to be able to talk, so it was a bit silly and it looked a bit stupid when you were actually using it as a phone. But it was up against the Game Boy Advance and it was kind of doomed to fail, but it's still a really underrated handheld system to me. Nokia did actually bring out a second Ngage, but I think it sold even worse than this one, so if you've still got one of those hiding around your house, it might be worth some money now. The Game Boy Micro, I can't believe how much these are worth now. 6 years ago, I actually went into a retro video game store and someone behind me in the queue was actually trading this in. So I literally looped round to the back of the queue and rebought it from them. £30 it cost me 6 years ago. I think that was an absolute bargain. It's actually probably a terrible system, to be honest. It's far too small. You can't really play on it for longer than about 10 minutes, but wow, it does look incredible. I would love to get all the colours, but I'm happy to just have this one. The Game Boy Advance SP, arguably the best handheld console of its time. You know, you've got the full Game Boy library there, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. It's clamshell design, so perfectly fits into your pocket. You don't have to worry about the screen getting damaged. It's got a backlight. So overall, arguably one of the best systems, certainly the best Game Boy system, I would say. Another bargain about 7 years ago from Gotham Games as well, £24 this one cost me. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I wish I had this one growing up. I'd have loved to have the SP growing up because I think I would have played a lot more Game Boy had I had the SP, but it's still a lovely item to have in my collection. Okay, so I did have a PSP growing up, but I was given the chance to swap it for a DS and a Wii. So obviously I decided to swap it, and I still think that was a great deal back in like 2007, 8 sort of thing. So yeah, this is one that actually a friend who is getting rid of her collection, she actually gave it to me a couple of weeks ago. So I'm so glad to have it back in my collection. The Nintendo DS, so the black one, is the one that I swapped. So I still have that from, like I say, about 2007, I think. The pink one I actually found on a car boot for £1, and I'm still so happy with that find. One of the best finds I've ever had, and I'm sure they'll go up in price even more than they have been. But yeah, not bad for £1. When it does come to portable consoles or handheld consoles, I think the clamshell design, it's probably the ultimate because it feels safe in your pocket. You don't have to worry about having a case. You know the screen's protected as well. So I would love to see a potential Switch or even a new handheld device from Nintendo back in that clamshell design. The 3DS for me brings back so many memories. The original 3DS, it's the last console that my mum bought me before she passed away, so it does provoke a lot of nostalgia for me, and I can really remember that birthday and when I got it, so lots of great memories with that. The new 3DS obviously just kind of smoothed off a few things, you know, it took away that kind of really square box design and then made it a little bit more curved and just nicer to hold in your hands. The 3DS XL, that was again gifted to me. My friend, she'd obviously thrown away a collection and she gifted me that one as well. It's quite nice to have at home because you got the backwards compatibility of the DS, and playing them on that slightly bigger screen, it's quite nice, but I do prefer the smaller version if I'm going to take one anywhere. And then we're finishing on the Switch, the console that really kind of made me fall back in love with gaming again. I was lucky to have the pre-order and I got them both on release day. The V1 though, the frustrating thing, that battery, it is really terrible. Even after probably a year or 18 months, I needed an upgrade, but I didn't want to just get the V2. So I was very, very happy when the OLED was announced because I finally have a console, a Switch with decent battery now. I'm really excited to see where Nintendo go next with the Switch or their next handheld device. I've got the pre-order still for the Steam Deck, but I'm not too sure if it's very future proof. Like looking at the new Jedi Fallen Order 2, is that going to be able to play on the Steam Deck? I'm not so sure, so even if I get a chance to buy the Steam Deck, I'm not sure about it yet. And there's loads of other consoles, handheld, that I'd love to own, but the fun is kind of finding them in the wild, and it's just getting almost impossible to find anything at car boots or cheap second-hand shops now. Everyone wants to make as much money as they can from them on eBay, which is fair enough. Let me know in the comments then, what's your favourite ever handheld console? I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I've had a lot of fun kind of making it and going through some of my collection. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, subscribe, give the video a like. Take care everyone. See you next time.